Hello, welcome back to the YarnNYarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all the places you can find me should be linked in the description box below this video. Here on the channel you'll find me chatting about my adventures in knitting, spinning, crochet and weaving, all of the fibre related things. Happy New Year to you all. It is the 1st of January as I am recording this, and I have decided to have a lovely cosy day today. So I've got my cup of tea and yes, I am in my pyjamas. I bought this pair of pyjamas a few weeks ago and they are the best thing. They've got robins in woolly hats and woolly scarves, and they're a lovely fleecy material. They're just the coziest thing, and I have decided I'm just hanging out in them all day today because it is the first day of the year. It is a Sunday, which if you followed the channel for any length of time, you know Sunday is my lazy day if I can get away with it. And also I have now finished the temporary contract. I've been working part-time for the last few weeks and I worked my last day yesterday. So this is my first day of what will hopefully be a couple of weeks off. It will be at least a week off if I have my way. And 2 if I can get away with it. So yeah, I hope you don't mind joining me in my pyjamas. And of course, you know, I'm not totally without morals or modesty. I have put a shawl on. You're welcome. I'm wearing the Storm Shawl by Hohi Locatelli, just in case anyone is interested. So yes, I thought I would put the camera on and we're going to embark on this year's 12 cast-ons adventure. I'm not actually casting on today. I have decided there's a few things I need to do around the house and just want to, as I say, have a sort of as restful and relaxing day as I can. But I thought it'd be fun to kick off this year's 12 cast-ons with a little bit of a review as to how I got on with last year's cast-ons. And if you happen to be new to the channel and you're wondering what on earth I'm talking about, I'll pop a link to a video. I forgot to do this last time I said I was going to do it. I'll pop a link to a video explaining how the 12 cast-ons came about, why I do it, and how it's grown into a bit of a community event over the last couple of years. I'm doing things a little bit differently this year, as in that I'm casting on now in the new year rather than between Christmas and New Year. And you are most welcome to join me if you would like to. I'm about to embark on 12 days of casting on 12 new projects in the hopes that it will set me up for my year or years worth of crafting. So yeah, I thought before I actually launch into that, it would be fun just to review where I got to with last year's 12. I have had a couple of questions about this year's round of the 12 cast-ons. The first off is you are most welcome to join us. You can cast on anything between Christmas Eve, so if you've already cast on, you can certainly hop in and join the make along. So the 24th of December right through to the 31st of January. And you don't have to cast on 12 projects like me. I know it's a lot. But you can cast on anything from 1 to 12 projects and you will be included as part of our make along if you would like to join in. And I will be having regular prize draws throughout the year because we'll have the cast on portion of the make along which goes till the end of January, and then we'll be having a year-long make along to try and get our projects finished and off the needles. So yes, that is the sort of time scale for the make along. I have also been asked whether it's just a knit along. It is absolutely not. I want this to be as inclusive as possible. You can start any kind of fibre craft. So I think last year we had some crochet, we had spinning, I think we had some weaving, and we may even have had some needle felting, I think. If you want to do some embroidery, that's absolutely fine as well. We're playing it fairly fast and loose. You can start whatever kind of projects you want and still be part of our make along. And the third thing that I've been asked quite a lot is what hashtag are we using for Instagram? And although we are now in 2023, it is 12 cast-ons 2022 is the hashtag. So I'll pop that up on the screen now. So if you want to be included in the prize draws, then use that hashtag. I also have threads open on Ravelry if you are a Ravelry user and you would like to join in using that method too. If I have forgotten anything, please do let me know. I'm feeling a little bit discombobulated because yeah, it's been a busy end to the year, and yeah, I feel like now I know that I'm done. My brain and my body are just like, ah. And yeah, I'm not sure if I'm functioning at full capacity, but when am I ever? If you have already started your 12 cast-ons, and I know that many of you have because I've seen lots of amazing pictures pop up on Instagram already, please do let me know in the comments below what you have started, because from tomorrow when I start my first project, I always try at the end of each video, because I will be vlogging daily as I cast on. At the end of each video I like to try and give as many people a shout out as possible so we can all share in the amazing projects that have been started. So yeah, if you'd like to be included in the shout outs, then please do let me know in the comments what you've cast on, and yeah, we'll get the buzz going for our little cast on party. If you tag me over on Instagram, I'm doing my very best to share as many people's pictures in my Instagram stories. I find Instagram a little bit less user-friendly these days, in that sometimes when people mention me in their comments, you know, like you might at Rainbow Ange or you might at YarnNYarns, they don't always pop up in my notification feeds. So I think the best ways for me to actually see your posts will be for you to either tag me or for you to do your post and then send it to me, which you can do through the messages on Instagram. I will always like and try to leave a comment on every post that I see. And as I say, I will be sharing those in my stories if I can. The only way I may not be able to share, there are some people who have private accounts and their settings are as such that I can't share things to my stories from those accounts. So if you see me liking and commenting but I don't add your post to my little story collection for the 12 cast-ons, that's probably the reason why. I know I'm doing quite a lot of chatting at the beginning of this video, so I hope you will bear with me. I've got two more quick things to shout out before I get started with my review, which is the purpose of this video after all. The first thing is, if you are interested in some more 12 cast-on content, I know that Tracy of The Passionate Spinner has made a video about her 12 cast-on projects, and I think there also may be a vlog about her first project. I'm a little bit behind with my YouTube watching because, as I keep mentioning, it's been a busy end to the year. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there's one, if not two videos up on Tracy's channel, so I'll link those below. And secondly, also connected to the lovely Tracy from Passionate Spinner, if you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of works in progress that you've got and you think, I don't want to cast on any more projects, then Tracy might have the make along for you, because she has recently started her 23 in 23 make along. And again, I'll post a link to her video below. And the idea is to pick 23 of your crafting works in progress. Again, doesn't have to be knitting, can be literally any sort of thing in the realm of crafting. And the idea is to work through those this year to get them finished. And yeah, so Tracy is hosting that fabulous make along, and I will certainly be joining in that one, because although I don't have 23 knitting projects on the needles at the moment, between knitting, spinning, weaving and cross stitch and embroidery, I definitely have 23 projects that I would love to work through in the coming year. So if finishing up the things that you already have started is feeling more your vibe at the moment, then please do go and check out Tracy's channel. Okay then, so with all of that being said, thank you for sticking with me if you're still here. I'm going to pull up my projects list and we're going to take a look at what status each of my 12 cast-ons from last year is. I'll link the full playlist for the 12 cast-ons from last year up above on the screen now. I won't be able to link each individual video on the sort of link cards, the iCards, because you're only allowed to link so many, but I will pop a link to my video, the cast-on video for each of the projects that I'm about to mention, and I'll also pop a link to my Ravelry page with pattern information as well. So please be careful if you're not a Ravelry user, if that platform is not good for you, then please be careful about which links you're clicking on if you do use the links below the video. Right, okay, let's get to it. I'm very rude here, scrolling on my phone, but I want to do these in order of when I cast them on. So day one of cast-ons 2021, I cast on the Waterlands Sweater, which is a pattern by Lotta Lothgren. So the Waterlands Sweater is a pattern from a back issue of Pom Pom magazine. These patterns will all be available individually now. If you do happen to have any of the Pom Poms in your collection, this is from winter 2019. And the said pattern looks like, let me try and find a picture. I can do this. Oh, I don't want to show you that one because there are instructions on that one. Don't want to share details of a paid for pattern. Where is it? Oh, of course, it's right at the front. So there we go, that is the Waterlands, a lovely colourwork yoke. And this project is the one that is probably my, I don't want to say failure because there's no fails, this is all for fun. But this project is the one and only project that actually has not been touched since I cast it on the first day of our make along last year. Wah, wah, wah. So yes, the only progress that was made was what was made on that very first day last year. That's slightly sad. But also I'm giggling away because I really don't mind. The entire idea behind this make along is to get things on the needles that I have yarn for, that I have patterns for, that I've been wanting to cast on, and then just to work on them as and when I have the time and the inclination. And usually I end up casting on a few sweaters and it takes me a while to get through the projects. So I'm not mad. This will definitely get picked up again at some point. As I'm waving this project at you, I'm still excited. I love the colours. The yarn's super lovely and soft. It's a old Louisa Harding yarn, not made anymore sadly. I'm going to be happy to get back to this. It's not one that I'm looking at now thinking, why on earth did I cast that on? I don't really feel any connection to this project. I don't like it anymore. I definitely still want this, so that's always a good sign, right? So yeah, that is the sad tale of the Waterlands sweater. And as I go through any of these projects that are still on the needles, I'm going to steal back these beautiful progress keepers, these wooden progress keepers that have got individual numbers etched into them. Were a kind gift from the lovely Judith, so I'm going to reclaim these because I'm going to need them for my cast-ons in the coming days. So there you go, stitch marker number 1. Day 2, I feel like we are going from 0, i.e. a project not touched, to hero, because day 2 is a finished project, yay! So on day 2 I cast on a lovely pattern from Tammy Gore, and it's the Love Your Stash shawl. And as you can see, my shawl is finished, and if I'd have had an ounce of sense and planning, I probably should have worn it, shouldn't I, rather than my storm shawl. But hey, I've got my storm shawl on now, even though it's unravelling a bit because I didn't put it on properly. I'm going to keep it on. I can be stubborn like that sometimes. But yes, love your stash. This video is all sorts of nonsense and chaos, isn't it? Love Your Stash is done, and I knit this from a beautiful, beautiful set of minis that were kindly gifted to me by one of our lovely community members here, Angela. And the pattern also was a gift to me from another one of our lovely community members, Jenny. So yeah, this was an absolute joy to knit. I followed the pattern in terms of the actual knit instructions, but the pattern as written has some guidance for when you change your colours. I decided not to follow the pattern in terms of the advice on the colour changing. I literally just cast on with mini number 1, knit till it ran out, joined in number 2, etc, etc, and just went with wherever that took me. And this is a great project for using up bits and pieces in your stash and this beautiful mini set as well. So yeah, if you've got any mini sets or bits and pieces left over that you're wondering what to do with, I can highly recommend the Love Your Stash pattern. I did end up casting off with a yarn from my stash. I don't know if you can see, the I-cord cast off is a slightly darker yarn, but I used every single bit of yarn that was in the mini set. I think I might have even knit a few extra rows at the end just to use up every little bit. And then rather than play yarn chicken at the end, I just brought in another scrap of yarn from my leftovers basket. For day 3 of the cast-ons last year, I started the first of 2 spin to knit projects, and I'm sad to say that neither of those projects got finished, but also I'm not surprised to say that, because spinning takes time, knitting takes time, and it was always in the back of my head that those projects would take a little bit longer to go from start to finish. The project that I'm working towards is a Love Note sweater, and Love Note is, as I'm sure you will be aware, a pattern by Tin Can Knits. I have knit one Love Note sweater before in the past, and I really love wearing that sweater, which is why I decided to embark on a second, and that also gave me the inspiration to try something a little bit different with my second sweater and to try and spin the yarn for it before I knit it. So I have got just over the other side of the room a basket of bats of fibre that I'm slowly working through. But it ended up being an even more slow project, and unintentionally slower than I'd hoped project, just because I found it a little bit difficult to find the time and the health to sit at my treader wheel and spin, and I chose to spin this fibre on my treader wheel. But I am also hopeful that I'm going to be making some more inroads into this project this year, because I've decided this project is going to be the focus for my 15 minutes spin a day for the foreseeable future. Anyway, I'm waffling a lot, aren't I, around this project. I have spun 3 bobbins worth, bobbins, of fibre, which equates to 3 of the bats that I've made, and I've got a 4th underway. I think I have maybe 7 or 8 bats altogether, so there's still quite some way to go. But over the last few days, since I've started my goal of spinning for 15 minutes each day on that project, I'm making good inroads. So I'm hopeful, if I can keep the momentum up, that the spinning portion of this will be done in the first half of the year, and then hopefully we can make some inroads into the casting on and the knitting in the second half of the year. So yeah, not a huge amount of progress to report on the Love Note sweater, but I am also, the thing that's slowing me down a little bit on this project is I'm spinning this yarn very finely. I want to end up with a 2-ply fingering weight yarn, so yeah, I'm spinning my singles quite finely, which obviously takes longer as well. But I still absolutely adore this colour. The fibre is from Velvet Sixpence, and again, although not much progress has been made, I'm still super excited about this, and definitely want to carry it through. There's no thoughts of sort of frogging the project at all in my head. It's one that I definitely want to see through to the end. On day 4 last year, I cast on a hat, and it was actually the first project that I ended up casting off in the new year from last year's 12, and it's the Stavaness Toorie Hat, which is a pattern that I found in a back issue of Shetland Wool Week magazine. I'm just going to pull the project up on my phone to see if I can get any more details for you. It doesn't tell me what issue of the magazine it's from, but it's a pattern by Terry Malcolmson, and it's a beautiful colourwork hat. This is actually in my donation pile. My intention was always to cast on a project to donate, and I used up some very deep stash yarn for this, which I was super happy about. I think it turned out absolutely beautifully. It's kind of a little bit of a wrench to get rid of it because the colour's gorgeous, the pattern's lovely, but yeah, I've got plenty of hats. So this will be going in my donation box, and actually my donation box is ready to send, but one of the reasons that I haven't sent it off yet is because I wanted to make this video. So now that I've made it and I have double proved that I have finished this project, then I can get it sent off. I have got vlogs for all of the projects that I've finished, and I shall again link those below because there are sort of making vlogs for each of the finished objects. I didn't mention that when I showed my Love Your Stash shawl, so yeah, I shall link those videos. If you want to follow the projects that I have finished from beginning to end, then there are videos for each of those as well. So yeah, Stavaness Toorie, can highly recommend this pattern, and so hard to, every time I look at this hat I just fall in love with it all over again. Look at that crown detail, it's just so beautiful, absolutely beautiful, but I will give that one away. Day 5 is also a finished project. This is making it look really good, isn't it? But don't you worry, all of the unfinished projects are to come. A little spoiler, I managed to finish less than half of my 12 cast-ons last year. But on day 5 I cast on a pair of vanilla socks, some plain socks, using some beautiful yarn that was a gift from Tammy of the Yarning at the Homestead podcast, and I'll put a link to Tammy's channel below. And Tammy sent me 2 balls of beautiful Patons Kroy yarn, which is one of my favourite sock yarns, but it's just impossible to get hold of over here in the UK. And so I knit a pair of beautiful socks with a contrast orange toe, which is a mini skein from another lovely one of our community members here. Anne sent me that, so I finished off the sock with this beautiful bright orange toe. Now, can you remember earlier when I said that I wasn't completely immodest? I put my shawl on for you. Well, I think the truth is out. I'm a complete slattern because I am yet again showing you a pair of my dirty socks. I fished these out of the wash basket, which is why they're not looking the best on the sock blocker. Not only that, I do not know where my other sock blocker is, so proof that there is one other dirty sock. These are a finished pair. Oh dear. I do strive to be the best version of me that I can be, but we can't all be perfect, eh? Here I am on YouTube again, flashing my dirty laundry. There's not too much to say about this project. As I say, it's just a straightforward plain sock in some absolutely beautiful yarn, and I'm super thrilled that these have been keeping my feet warm this winter. Day 6 is a project that I know many of you who have been watching the channel for a while will remember with a lot of fondness, because it's the one and only crochet project that I started last year, and it is Victor Frog. And I'm a little bit ashamed to say that at this exact moment of recording, I cannot find Victor. I think he must be somewhere else in the house. So by the magic of YouTube, I will find Victor and I will insert a clip of that project, but it might be later on today, so apologies if the lighting gets weird or anything like that. I mean, there's going to be quite a few like angle changes and bits and pieces between all of these clips anyway, because I'm off finding projects or being interrupted. That's another story entirely. But yes, Victor, where are you? Honestly, Victor, he was the cause of lots of hilarity last year, and I'm sure he's just trying to get me back and make me look a fool on YouTube. Not that I'm not capable of doing that myself. Victor, where are you? We're now in the midst of a big hailstorm, lots of hail and rain going on outside, but I'm happy to say that with a couple of phone calls to Victor's agent, I realised that I'd forgotten to pay Victor's retainer, and so now that I've settled my accounts with Victor, he has decided he will happily make an appearance on today's video. So on day, whatever it was that I just said a minute ago, which in actual fact is about an hour ago for me, because that's how long it's taken me to track down Victor, I did also have some lunch. Victor is from this book, The Animals of Pika Pow, and this is what Victor will look like eventually once he is finished. And I have a half-formed Victor, so apologies, no wonder he didn't want to make an appearance. It's a very flat looking, half-legged Victor. So yes, here he is. I've done the body and obviously his spotty underpants. I also have in here, when his legs are done, I've got the first part of his swimming shorts, which hopefully will fit. These, if I remember rightly, a slightly different yarn thickness to what I'm using for the body of Victor, but just holding it up against him, it looks like it will probably be fine. I think the shorts are a tad bit bigger, but obviously we want them to be a little bit bigger to fit up over the top, and obviously once the toy is stuffed as well, that will add a little bit of extra for the shorts to go over. I was planning to try and get the legs finished over the last few weeks of the year, because I'd enjoyed doing a little bit of crochet through Vlogmas with my Advent mini skein swap, but yeah, I always have these ambitious plans and not enough time to fulfill them, so I never did get around to doing any more to Victor. And this crochet is actually a bit harder on my hands because I'm using cotton yarn at a very tight gauge. So it's one of the reasons that Victor isn't finished, although he's quite a small project. It's just, yeah, it's heavy going on my hands, but I will get back to Victor. I've literally just got his legs to do, his flippers and his 2 arms. On day 7 of the 12 cast-ons last year, I cast on the Driftlines Cowl, and this might be very familiar to you because I have literally just uploaded a video sharing my vlog for the making of this project, so I'm not going to dwell on it too long here, but my Driftlines is finished. And so yeah, all of the details are on a very, very recent video here, so yeah, we'll zoom over the Driftlines, and if you want to catch up with all of the making that went into this and some more detail about the project and the yarn, then there will be a video linked for you to go and view should you choose to do so. And coincidentally, exactly the same can be said for the project that I started for day 8 of last year's 12 cast on, which were the Varia Mitts. And the Varia is literally the last video that I posted just a couple of days ago. A pair of beautiful colourwork fingerless mittens. And again, I'm not going to spend really any time at all chatting about this project, because there is a video which I'm sure many of you will have watched, but again, if you haven't watched it and you want to know more about this project, the yarn and the process of the making, then I'll pop a link to the video that you can pop back and watch. These are just one of my most absolute favourite projects that I have made ever. It's a beautiful pattern. And with that project also marks the end of the finished objects that I managed to get through. So yeah, spoiler for the rest of the video, the coming projects are now all going to be works in progress. So on day 9 I did a cast on the Seaglass Sweater, which is leaving in a huge project bag because I've got quite a big assortment of yarn in here that I'm picking from to knit this sweater. I did add a few rows of work to this project earlier on in the year, but not too many, I don't think. And again, it's another one that I just can't wait to get back to, because it's just such a pretty little sweater and I love the colours that I'm using. Again, there's definitely no thoughts in my head of frogging or just not making this sweater. It's one that I totally want to add to my wardrobe, and I will look forward to getting back to this again soon. So not a ton of progress. I think I'm still on the increases for the raglan. Pretty sure I am, and yeah, hopefully at some point this year be able to carve out some time to put in some more work on this. And again, while I've got the project out of the bag, I'm going to reclaim this stitch marker ready for me casting on over the next few days. On day 10 of the cast-ons last year, I started the second of my spin to knit projects, and it's a much smaller project than a sweater. It's a cowl. I'm aiming to knit the Litmus pattern, which is a pattern by Jude of Stranded Dye Works. And the reason that I've stalled on this, I did a lot of work on it in the first half of the year, and I sort of changed tack part way through my project. So originally I was spinning through fibre advent that I had last year from the lovely Caroline of Colourful Creativity, and as I was spinning through that beautiful fibre from my advent, I decided that it wasn't quite the right yarn. My finished yarns were not quite the right yarn for the Litmus Cowl. However, another one of my spin projects that I finished this year is the yarn that I wanted to use. So I've got all of these beautiful mini skeins of hand spun, which I spun from a Halloween fibre set from Wonderful Wool, and so all of the contrast colours are ready. And I also, towards the end of last year, spun up some samples of the yarns that I'm thinking about using as the main colour. So what I want to do is one stripe of the main colour and then one stripe of my contrast from this particular mini set. So I've spun up 3 little sample skeins from fibres, all from John Arbon fibres, that I think may be my main colour. I'm not sure yet. I need to knit up some little swatches, sort of trialling each of these colours to see if any of these are actually the one or if I do in fact need to find something else fibre wise to use as my main colour. And yeah, it's just finding the time to wind up all of these beautiful skeins of hand spun to sort of trial all of these with each of these colours. Just kind of made me stall on this project. It's not going to take too long once I get going, but it was just, I just didn't have the time. I mean, obviously I didn't, because that's a silly thing to say, isn't it? If I'd have had the time, it would be done. But I just haven't. And again, these yarns are just so beautiful. I cannot wait to progress with this. I've wound these up now so they look a bit daft together. When I spun these up, I was really excited to sort of trial these with each of the skeins that I'd already spun. But now I'm looking at these against these minis. I'm not sure that if any of these are going to be actually the right colour that I want. So yeah, there could be some more trial and play to come before this one comes to fruition, but I'm getting ever closer. Honestly, I thought when I started the Litmus project it was going to be one of the first things that I finished, because you know, it's a cowl, how long can that take? But when you're spinning your yarn and then you change direction and then you haven't got in mind what you're going to do for your contrast colour, it all just adds up time wise. Speaking of chaos, let's get on to what I started on day 11 of the 12 cast-ons last year. And the reason I'm saying chaos is because I was going to pick this project up to work on in December, because I felt like I could, with a bit of effort, actually get this finished, because I'm really not too far away from finishing this one at all. And it's the Astra Vest. Sorry, I am definitely in a chaotic mood today. And I'm working this Astra Vest, which is a pattern by Amber O'Brien, using 2 hand spun yarns. It's all a bit creased up as it's been shoved in a project bag that's really a little bit too small for the amount of work that I've put into this project now. But I'm using my yarn, which is from the very first fleece that I ever processed from raw fleece through to usable yarn. And I'm contrasting that with some hand spun from fibre that was a lovely gift from Kathy, a member of our lovely community here. And I should say that the fleece that I processed was also a lovely gift from Charlie. So thank you to Kathy and Charlie. So yeah, I've knit the body of this vest, and it's a vest, so there's no sleeves, which is why I wanted to work on it in December. I've split for the back and the front, which is why it's a complete mess to try and show this to you on camera. I'm at the point now, I believe, where I need to sort of knit up the 2 sides on the front. However, I can't find my pattern. And I'm usually so careful about, I work from printed patterns usually, and I put them in my project bags, and I make lots of notes on the pages so that I know where I am, because I know that some of my projects go into the project bags and they don't get to see the light of day again for weeks or months or years. So yeah, I'm very meticulous about keeping my notes, but my notes are not in the bag, which is a little bit concerning. So I need to either relocate my notes, which honestly, if you could see the amount of mess up in this craft room at the moment, is not as easy as it sounds, or I need to just print out the pattern again and figure out exactly where I am, and that's what stopped me picking this up in December. So yeah, that is the tale of chaos. That is the Astra Vest. And that brings us to the final project, day 12, and when I could not work on the Astra Vest, I decided to pull this one out of hibernation instead, and a lot of work has gone into this throughout the last few weeks, and it's my simple stripes sweater, which is a pattern by Varia Mitts, and I'm using a combination of beautiful natural dyed yarns from Fee of Flourish Fibres. And when I picked this up a couple of weeks ago, I had reached the arm split, which if you watch my Vlogmas videos, you might have seen me where I was when I picked this up. And over the last couple of weeks, I have managed to knit quite some way into the body, which is a lot of knitting time. This is a 4-ply yarn, and obviously it's in a large size for me, so yeah, there's quite some hours of knitting that have gone into making this progress, and I have enjoyed every single minute of it. It's been exactly the kind of knitting that I need, just round and round, stocking stitch. So I'm knitting all of the time. I'm changing up my colours, which means that it never gets too boring, because I'm doing a few rows in each, and then I get to work with another beautiful colour. And I think if I'm knitting to pattern, I've got another one sort of colour repeat left. So next time I get back to this light beige, I will have worked the body to the length recommended in the pattern, and then I will try this on, make sure I'm happy with the length, and then it will be on to sleeve knitting. So yeah, thanks to me of the last couple of weeks, this one has had a good amount of progress on it. So it's been a really nice way actually to end the year, is to make a significant dent in one of the bigger projects, because while I've finished quite a few of the smaller projects, it's these sort of larger projects, or the ones that are a bit more of a commitment in terms of time, like the spinning projects, that have really kind of taken a bit of a back burner, have suffered a little bit this year. So yeah, despite my lack of progress on many of these projects, I'm actually feeling like I've ended the year on a high. I managed to get the Driftlines Cowl finished, I managed to finish the Varia Mitts, and I've made a good amount of progress on that final project, the simple stripes. So there we go, a little review, or a long review. I literally have no idea how long this video's been, because I've recorded it in lots of little segments. So yeah. Thank you so much for being here, for putting up with my waffle. I hope you enjoyed my little roundup. Obviously you've seen some of the finished objects, but it's been quite a nice opportunity for me to get out some of the other projects that you haven't seen, because while I have been recording and telling you about them, those bits of recording are part of the ongoing making vlogs, so you haven't actually seen a lot of this progress that has been happening behind the scenes. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this little roundup. I'm off to try and find Victor, and hopefully I will have found him and you'll have already seen him. But at the point I'm recording this, he is still MIA. Oh, I'm looking hopefully around in case he, you know, waves at me from a corner somewhere. So yeah, I'm off to find Victor. I'm also off to get some lunch, and then I'll be back hopefully to record my little segment about Victor. But in the meantime, please do let me know in the comments below if you have already started anything for the 12 cast-ons. It's the 1st of January today. I'm planning to get this video edited and uploaded on the 2nd, and I shall be officially starting my project tomorrow, which is today for you if you're watching the video when I post it. Oh, it's getting very confusing, isn't it? You will see that video tomorrow, hopefully, which will be in a couple of days for me. My brain is exploding. But yes, let me know what you've started, and I shall give as many people as want to and have started projects shout outs on the next video. So yeah, I hope you will join me for the cast on fun, and I hope seeing all of my unfinished objects has not put you off of casting on. You don't have to cast on as many projects as I am. Just one project to join with our cast on party is absolutely perfect. Again, Happy New Year to you. Thank you for all of your love and support and encouragement, and just putting up with me over the last year in 2022, and I shall hopefully see you for the next video. But until we do get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do some of the things you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now. Bye. Victor, Victor, where are you, Victor? I'm coming to find you.